everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another episode today. Going to be taking a look at a little mini collection that I've completed, at least for the time being, that I'm pretty proud of. And looking at that is also going to present a good opportunity to talk a little bit about Upper Deck e-Pack and what that program is and how it's impacted my collecting over the last 5 or 6 years. So basically, let's get into it by talking about Upper Deck e-Pack a little bit. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, this is a service that Upper Deck launched in January 2016, so a little over 6 years ago now, and it's kind of like a hybrid where you get virtual or digital packs of trading cards that you can open. Now, I'm not a big digital trading card fan. I like my cards to be tangible cards that I can hold in hand, but that's why I used the word hybrid, because while the packs are digital and the cards you pulled out of the packs were digital cards, there were options to trade your cards in essentially from the e-Pack platform for real life printed cards. And in order to handle that side, Upper Deck teamed up with ComC, which is a site that I talk about frequently here on my channel. So the way this would work, at least for the parallels that we're going to talk about today, you would buy a pack of hockey cards in, the say spring of 2016 on the e-Pack platform. It would be a virtual pack. You'd unwrap it and you'd get, say, 5 cards. And maybe you do that over and over, once a day for a few weeks, and you build up a little collection of cards and you got some doubles and triples from the set. Let's say you're opening Upper Deck Flagship Hockey, which is the first set that they put out on the platform. Well, they did come up with a concept where if you ended up with 10 cards of a certain player in that 2015-16 Upper Deck release, which was the first one to go on e-Pack, you could trade those 10 cards in, virtual cards, for an actual silver foil parallel of that base card. So if you were fortunate enough to accumulate 10 Alex Ovechkin cards, either by opening them yourself or trading for them on the platform, you could exchange them for a silver foil Ovechkin that would be an actual card that could be transferred to your inventory on ComC, where you could then either sell it or have it shipped to your house, etc. So these silver foils began in 2015, Connor McDavid's rookie season. This was the first set put out in e-Pack, and they were kind of a cool concept. So even though I'm not a fan of digital cards, I'm very much into the physical cards that you could trade your digital cards into, because they're kind of cool parallels of the Upper Deck flagship cards. But what we're going to talk about today is a parallel that was introduced in the second Upper Deck flagship set that was done in the e-Pack program. That was the 2016-17 Upper Deck release. So just like the first year's e-Packs, if you ended up with 10 cards of a player, you could trade them in, 10 e-Pack cards of a player, for a silver foil physical card of the player available through ComC, same as the year prior in 2015. But what they did in 2016 and have done ever since that really caught my attention is if you accumulated 10 silver foil parallels, which is the equivalent now of 100 e-Pack base cards, you could trade in 10 silver foils for 1 gold rainbow foil. And these are spectacular. And these gold rainbow foils, and the name does change, are a parallel that's going to be the focus of today's mini collection. So this is the first Alex Ovechkin, e-Pack gold rainbow foil. So it took 100 e-Pack Alex Ovechkin base cards to essentially trade up into this gold rainbow foil. And you can see this kind of wild effect. The lighting in here is not really optimal, but like the sparkliness going on in the background here. The player is exempt from that, but the whole background just has this really nice shine. It kind of just dances as the light hits the card. These are beautiful. They're kind of sneaky tough, as you might imagine. They're not numbered or anything because, an untold number of them would be produced based on how many people met the requirements of how many cards you would need to trade into one. But I can tell you they are quite scarce and getting scarcer as the years kind of move on here. And so that's the inaugural Alex Ovechkin gold rainbow foil. The following year, they did something a little bit weird. 2017, they were still called Gold Rainbow Foil, but they changed the effect used on the cards halfway through the set. So in 2017, the second year that they did these, if you were in Series 1 Upper Deck, your Gold Rainbow Foil parallel looks very similar to this one here in terms of the effect used. But by the time they printed up Series 2, they changed the effect used on the Gold Rainbow Foil parallels to this type of effect, which is, I don't really know what to compare this to. Maybe somewhat close to like the retail foil boards in Topps Baseball, but not an exact match. You got some great shine here. And again, my lighting isn't cooperating the way I wish that it was, but you get the idea. And same concept throughout the entire lifeline of these parallels. It's been the same deal where it basically takes 100 base cards from e-Pack to trade up into your Gold Rainbow Foil. So the other change that took place, so there's the first two years. In the third year, 2018, they changed the name of the parallel from Gold Rainbow Foil to Speckled Rainbow Foil, but again, same concept. And here's the 2018. I happen to have this one slabbed just because I found a cheap copy and it just worked out that way. But in 2018, they kind of returned to the card effect that they used on the original 2016s. This is not my favorite Ovechkin card of him just kind of waving to the fans, but wanted to work on this run, so very grateful that I was able to pick this one up, and that would be the 2018. The program continued into 2019, of course, and in 2019, they went back to the effect that they used in the second half of 2017, this sort of speckling in the background, slightly different. You know, they kind of alter this a little bit every year, but general concept is the same. You know, 10 e-Pack cards trades up to 1 silver, 10 silvers trades up to 1 gold or speckled. They're still called Speckled Rainbow all the way to this day. So here's the 2019, and this one I like so much, I guess, that I accidentally bought it twice, which is fine with me. I mean, I'll kind of scoop these up if I find them at a decent price because I'm a big believer in these cards long-term as a fan of shiny cardboard, and given kind of the scarcity of these and what it took to trade up into them, I think they're sneaky good cards, and happy to have 2 of those. And then that takes us to 2020. Nice photograph on the 2020 base card of Alex doing what he does best, ripping a slap shot at the opponent's goaltender. Just a really great shot there, and I love, you know, the 2020s really kind of dazzle. They kind of stepped it up a notch, so this is just a fantastic looking card. And then only now are the 2021-22 speckleds kind of starting to become a thing on ComC. So I don't yet have a 2021 in hand. You know, the 5 that we saw here today represent the entire run, or I guess it was 6 that we saw here today, represent the entire run of Ovechkin Gold Rainbow / Speckled Rainbow from the advent of the parallel in 2016 up through 2020. So that is going to be a wrap on this installment. Just wanted to show those off, and was very happy to at least have accumulated everything in the run thus far. And this is certainly a parallel that for, you know, as long as Alex Ovechkin is playing the sport, or for as long as they're making this parallel, I will try to pick up the new one every year and just keep this run going until it ultimately ends. So that's a wrap for today. Really appreciate everyone stopping by and checking out this little mini collection of Alex Ovechkin cards, and talking a little bit about the e-Pack promotion between Upper Deck and ComC. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.